With Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the epic trilogy comes to an end. We already knew for a while that this will be the final mission for the team, at least in their current formation. What does that mean for the team as a whole, and for each one individually? What does that mean for the MCU? Hi there, it's Micha. I will keep the main part of this video spoiler free, but will share details, after a proper warning of course, at the end of the video, along with some thoughts on future implications. So whether you like to be spoiled or not, please join me for this review video, will ya? When we meet the gang in the new entry, we find Quill still in a dark place, mourning the loss of Gamora, at least his Gamora, as she is alive and kicking, but as a version joining our time from the past, with no memory of Star-Lord and their shared past.
And some dumbass Earth dude who met a girl, fell in love. That girl died, and then came back a total dick.
For that reason he spends many days blackout drunk, like today, when the headquarters on Nowhere are attacked by Adam Warlock, the being that was engineered by the Sovereign to retaliate against the Guardians for their betrayal.
More powerful, more beautiful, more capable of destroying the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I shall call him Adam.
Or more specific, Rocket's betrayal at the beginning of the previous movie.
You wanna buy some batteries?
Though they can fight him off for now,
On the ground!
Rocket is heavily wounded, and due to a kill switch embedded in his body, the use of traditional medicine would mean his death. Only technology from Orgocore, the company of the High Evolutionary, the scientist who experimented on Rocket and created his current form, can save his life. So the team sets out to retrieve the needed help from Orgocore, any which way they can, whatever the cost, not knowing yet that this would be their last mission together. Whatever that means.
You left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
I kept the synopsis as short as possible, as I don't want to spoil it for you. I want everyone to be able to experience the movie with the same ambivalence in their head that I felt going in. What do I mean by that? Well, it was made clear by James Gunn and the whole marketing campaign that this would be the last mission the group has to face, at least in their current lineup. And we knew from some of the actors that this would be their last appearance in the MCU. That way the creators were implying a lot of possible outcomes. Will they all die? Will some of them die? Will the ones that have their swan song here be killed off or just retire? We were not sure, and that made the movie so highly anticipated. Especially the last trailer, playing over Rainbows Since You've Been Gone, was already an emotional roller coaster, and one of the best trailers I have seen in quite a while. Or just one of the best, period. I usually watch a trailer once, maybe twice. I guess I watched this one over a dozen times. In that trailer we see images with dire implications, breathtakingly beautiful and sentimental, leaning into our love for and fear for these characters.
We'll all fly away together. Into the forever and beautiful sky.
And the music perfectly accentuated the intended effect. I'm not ashamed to admit that the trailer jerked a tear every single time I watched it. So going into the movie, I was unsure of the heroes' fates. I was sure that they wouldn't kill them all off. But James Gunn definitely doesn't shy away from killing off one of his stars, so everyone's head was potentially on the chopping block.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
Incinerate them.
I was pumped and scared going in, and I won't spill how it all turned out. I will share more on the outcome in the spoiler zone at the end of this video though, after a proper warning, no worries. Let me just say here that the movie was a fantastic and, just like the trailer, a real emotional roller coaster ride. There were so many moments where we could laugh out loud.
I miss you so much. Well, what I'm trying to say is...
Peter, you know this is an open line, right?
What?
We're listening to everything you're saying.
And it is painful.
But I switched it over to private. Blue! For the blue suit!
Oh, no.
Blue is the open line for everyone.
Orange is for blue, yellow is for green, green is for red, and red is for yellow.
No, yellow is for yellow. Green is for red, red is for green.
I don't think so.
Try it then.
You were right.
Seems intuitive.
And some really tense moments too. And there was no dry eye in the theater. For multiple reasons. Especially the flashbacks to Rocket's youth and his time at Orgicore will have you in tears a lot.
I would like my name to be Lila.
That's a pretty name, Lila.
Thank you. What about you, friend?
Rocket.
The movie was 2.5 hours long, which went by in a heartbeat, without you even noticing it. Not once I checked the time, which for me is one of the best indicators for entertainment. It was well crafted and acted, and balanced, giving each of our heroes, including new arrivals, some truly great moments. Therefore, if you love the team and the previous movies, don't miss out on this one and watch it in a theater.
Okay, here we go.
Still don't have your tickets?
For me, maybe the best Marvel movie yet. A place that might only be challenged by Infinity War or Endgame, if you ignore some of the annoying and drawn-out time travel storylines. One last spoiler-free observation. Reading the name Linda Cardellini in the title credits had me scratching my head for a while. As she is playing Hawkeye's wife, Laura Barton, in the MCU, I was trying to figure out how she might fit into this movie. Then I understood when I heard her voicing the role of Lila, an Otter and Rocket's friend from back in Orgicore's labs.
We're gonna need names. I mean, 89Q12, it's not really a name.
Nice that Marvel is starting to shift away from casting actors only for one role in the MCU, even if for now it is just about voice acting, because you don't want to burn off great actors in small roles, keeping them from taking on starring roles in the future. With that being said, let's go into the rating. I truly enjoyed myself going on this roller coaster ride, for all the upfront worries, the payoffs and emotional moments along the way. I was also worried a bit about how James Gunn, who is the co-creative head of DC going forward, would handle his parting gift at Marvel. Would he phone it in? Would he piss us off? That fear was small though, because I see James Gunn as someone who loves his movies and characters too much to be petty, and who would be keen on ending his trilogy in a proper way. And that even included dropping the first F-bomb within the MCU.
Push the button! There's a button under the handle!
Okay. Now what?
Open the door!
In the actual movie you will hear it unbleeped.
Your instructions were very unclear.
He did another great job here, and I have no doubt that you will not regret watching this movie, just like I did not regret it. I'm struggling a bit in choosing the actual score for it though. I previously called the movie fantastic, so would that mean 10 out of 10 points? They for sure did almost everything perfectly here, so 9 out of 10 is a given. You may know from previous videos that I consider a 10 out of 10 more as a theoretical score, though I would be willing to hand it out to a movie that truly is one of the best of all times. With that in mind, let me tell you that I was actually considering a 10, and I was wondering if I was only nitpicking to avoid rating it that way. But truth be told, there were some very minor detractors along the way, so that I decided on a rating of 9.5 out of 10 points. I know, though many critics liked the movie a lot, no one gave a truly high rating, but I really loved this one for the reasons I will share in a moment. I think since I started to review movies on my channel, I never handed out a 10, but I never came so close as with this one. It was all I hoped for and more. so at least for me it totally hit the mark. Now, if you don't want to get spoiled but enjoyed this video so far, please like it now before you leave. And if you are no subscriber yet, maybe consider to change that. If you don't mind spoilers or have already watched the movie, please follow me into the spoiler zone. Let's get straight to the point. I was pretty sure they wouldn't kill off the whole team. That would just be madness. However, I was afraid they would kill off someone, with Drax and Mantis being my most likely candidates, regarding recent developments in the holiday special, where they revealed Mantis to be Quill's sister.
Maybe because I'm his sister, I feel like I should give Peter a happy Christmas.
So the impact would be more severe. And with Bautista announcing to retire from his role, I was prepared for it, while harboring the hope that all the innuendos and foreshadowing were just meant to prepare us for the worst, and then give us and the Guardians the well-deserved send-off in peace and without any casualties. And I'm so happy to say that this turned out to be true. All the worries beforehand and then the payoff of having them all survive just heightened the satisfaction we received at the end of it. And they really had us sweating it a lot, as many situations felt like they could and would turn out fatal. Every one of the team had at least one great moment of growth and or heroism, showcasing their value despite their individual flaws. The screenplay in that regard felt fair and truly balanced, and each one ended up in a good place. After being an all-around hero again, Peter overcame his resentment of his grandfather and reconnected with his family. Gamora came to appreciate Peter and found her love for helping people, like the other Gamora did, but didn't join the Guardians. She instead rejoined the Ravagers, as they are her family now, and that felt right. She will likely have a positive influence there. Drax, though considered by many of his friends to be dumb,
your friend's a moron. I got one of those too.
Found his calling in being a substitute father for a whole bunch of rescued kids, and settled down on Nowhere to help raise them. And so did Nebula, who completely opened her heart, abandoning her hardened exterior, and vowed to make Nowhere the welcoming home she herself never knew, being a governing force going forward. Mantis stopped living the way she thought others would want her to, overcoming her inferiority complex, and ended up leaving the team, for now, to find out who she is and what she wants. The team, as is, was dissolved and reformed with a new lineup, with Rocket being the new leader, after realizing that he only pushes people away and sabotages himself because he believed everyone getting close to him would end up dead. Because that is what happened to him all his life. With that mindset changed and with his genius level intellect, he was always destined for greatness, and now he finally embraces that. It was pretty much a given that Groot would stay with him, and while his growth was mostly a physical one, as he was enormous in the mid-credit scene, he was heroic as well, and even ended up uttering words other than "I am Groot."
I know who you are already!
I'm Groot.
You're all just making up stuff that he's saying, right?
Kraglin, after struggling a lot with controlling Yondu's arrow, finally managed to handle it when it was needed the most, where he had his big moment to shine, and he ended up staying a part of the Guardian setup. If you know a bit about the comics, you knew that Adam Warlock would end up a hero. It was just a question of when. So him being part of the new Guardians was pretty much also a given. He did stay longer on the bad side as expected though. I reckoned that after his mother, the High Priestess, died by the doing of the main villain, that he would flip sides, but he did it after being saved by Groot, who said everyone deserves a second chance. Overall, it was a bit of a surprise how clumsy Adam was throughout the movie, but as they stated, he was just a child and taken out of his breeding pod too early, which made for some funny moments. His hero moment came pretty quick and as expected when he rescued Peter from dying in space. Although they really had me worried there, because that scene was drawn out to the point where I thought he was beyond saving. However, this is a science fiction movie, where they have advanced ways of healing, which they demonstrated a lot throughout the movie, so that I ended up not even needing to suspend my disbelief too much there. Oh, and Adam brought with him the pet he rescued along the way, where it is unclear if it just tags along or also has powers. The rest of the new team consists of Cosmo, the telepathic dog we meet as part of the collector's lot in previous movies and have seen in the holiday special. And she also has some scenes here where she saves the day. Lastly, we have Phyla, one of the rescued girls joining the team. With abilities yet unknown, but according to her comic alter ego, she is able to absorb and project energy, and she can fly. Where does that leave us? We will likely see the new team either in their own movie or as guests in other productions. Everyone who retired their roles, like Dave Bautista,
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
and Joey Saldana could still pop up for a cameo despite their announcement. Especially since Karen Gillan's Nebula stayed in the same place as Drax, and she is still interested in continuing her role. That Peter will reappear is a given, as they clearly stated that at the end of the credits. My best guess? He will be joining an Earthbound team, likely the Avengers, before returning to space to either end up with Gamora, or just as likely with Nebula, as was teased a lot in this movie.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Do not bring me into this.
Knock it off!
Like I said in the review part, for me this one delivered on all their promises, and with no one dying they actually over-delivered. As I am such a sucker for a proper happy end, and walked out of this movie totally satisfied. James Gunn has shown that he really loves his characters by giving them a deserving goodbye and by making this his best movie yet. As he moves on to lead the reboot of the DC universe, Disney can rejoice for receiving another winner as his parting gift, and they will likely kick themselves for how they treated him in the past, as that pushed him to his stint at DC, which consequentially became his new home. While I will miss him working for Marvel, I have high hopes that the future of DC will bring us some great movies that may give Marvel a tough time to keep their dominance at the box office. In any case, we, the audience, may be the winners in that fight. What do you think about this last hurrah for the Guardians? Did you also love it, or were there parts that disappointed you? Were you expecting fatalities, and are you also a sucker for a proper happy end? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. Then I understood when I heard her voicing the role of Lila, an Otter and Rocket's friend from back in Augiecore's laboratories. Labs.